LGBTQ and Transgender Community. Just to give some numbers, around 20 million people, which is around 7% of the US adult population, they identify themselves as LGBTQ, which actually has doubled from 3.5% in 2012. So in a decade, it has doubled, 10 million to 20 million. Gen Zs, age group 19 to 26, are most likely to identify themselves as LGBTQ uh, compared to millennials, ages 27 to 42. Now, as per Reuters, the new study estimates there are around 1.6 million adults in US who identify themselves as transgender, right? Um, my question is, I'm going to read these things and then we'll jump into it. As transgender people have gained acceptance and visibility, conservative lawmakers have zeroed in on restricting their rights, keeping transgender children off girls' sports teams and out of certain bathrooms, and blocking them from receiving gender affirming medical care. In response, a growing number of Democratic controlled states, the blue states, have moved to protect such rights, especially access to gender affirming care. Last but not the least, 6 states have laws or policies in effect barring minors from receiving puberty blockers or hormone therapy. So, Steve, we'll start with you. Based on what I just said, the numbers that I told, and the issues that this community is facing, where do you stand with this community? Give me your just insight and views on this, and then we'll go to Dave.
Um, I 100% support your body, your decision. If you're a girl, want to be a boy, you're a boy, want to be a girl, awesome, whatever. Do you. Doesn't affect my life. And it's their right to do it. They shouldn't be refused medication. And it shouldn't matter on a state to state basis. Um, my issue with this is then you get to the bathrooms and the sports and other. And all right, we already have the Special Olympics been around forever. So make a Trans Olympics. You guys can battle each other in whatever sport you want to. That's fine. But no, a man that changes to a woman should not be competing against women. And that's just fact. That has nothing to do with, hey, I feel I was born the wrong person. Respect. Do you? But don't use it as an unfair advantage in, sports. Don't walk in to the woman's bathroom. I have a 22-year-old daughter. You walk in the bathroom with a dick, well, you're my problem because you shouldn't be there. But give them their own bathroom. Easy, just as easy as anything else. Make an alternative bathroom for everybody. Problem solved. This really shouldn't be an issue. It's their body. Now, when it comes to, what was the other piece? Crap, I missed it. Yeah, I really lost it.
And you talk about the bathrooms, you talk about the sports teams. Uh, they're
Sports team.
also, they're also talking about gender affirming medical care, where they're blocking them from receiving it.
Correct. But once you go through transition, and I hung out at a goth club for years. I I have a lot of trans friends, and one of the big issues, like everyone says, oh, they commit suicide. Well, no, someone making a decision after puberty, or you know, they're gonna. Most of them are happy with the decision they made. Now, a parent is asking an 8-year-old, "Do you want to be a boy or a girl?" How is a freaking 8-year-old going to tell you that? They don't know. They don't know what they're going to go through in high school. I was picked on. I was made fun of. It was High school was horrible for me. Grammar school was horrible for me. I can only imagine if I decided to want to be a woman at 7, it would have been 100 times worse. And then they regret the decision. But they were forced to make a decision at an age where they weren't prepared to make that decision yet.
But who
Someone
forced
that's
that
20,
decision? Who forced
hmm?
that decision? Who is forcing that
Well, that's
decision?
parents are now asking their kids what they want to be before they're ready to make that decision.
So where is the parenting here? Where is the right form of parenting? If a parent is asking a 7 or 8 year old kid instead of the other way around, where the kid looks up to their parents for the correct advice, guidance, something has to be wrong here, you know? Then who's at fault?
Well, that other end is a little. See, now that I really can't make an accurate comment on that
I mean,
because
you said you have a lot of transgender friends. I mean,
I do.
so my thing is when you talk to them, uh, what are some of the things they bring up that they're not happy with and they would like as a change?
The ones that I know didn't transition till they were in their late teens or early 20s or even way older than that. A lot of them in their 30s. And I get it, your body's more adapted to one or the other at that point. It's more difficult. But all of them are happy. And I every once in a while I get on the topic and I'll ask, hey, so are you happy with your decision? Couldn't be happier is the answer. None of them are suicidal. None of them, like, I don't see that, at least from my circle, which is small based on where I'm hanging out, who I meet, and their age range. I can't, I don't know any transgenders that prior to like 16. So I don't know. But I hear that the suicide rate of trans at that age is a lot higher. But again, you're under 10 years old. Do you know what life has to offer? Do you know what you're going to have to deal with? Are you prepared for the ramifications? And I'm not saying there shouldn't be, but there's going to be because people are going to judge, people are going to have their opinion, and people can be bullies and they're going to treat people improperly. And that's not fair.
Dave?
All right. So I'll just be straight out and say a man is a man, a woman is a woman. Um, what they want to be, they could be. Men's sports, women's sports, they should be separated. Man should not walk into a woman's bathroom. There's many reasons for that. The question I have is, why don't we see the opposite? Why don't we see a woman changing into a man, going into a man's sport, a woman wanting to go into a man's bathroom? There's psychological issues there. Why is this getting pushed this way? I understand some people may think or feel that they could do it. Just don't make it obvious. Don't. I mean, I'm not walking around the streets and saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm a straight male." You know, people would look at me like, "Hey, you're strange." So why can't I look at somebody else saying, "Hey, that's kind of strange. Why are you bringing it out into the open?" Um, the things with children and their medical things. Um, See, when I grew up, I didn't have a cell phone, a computer. I didn't information that these kids get. I went to school. If I got picked on at school, I went home. I didn't have to hear from them. If I had to hear from them, they had to call a telephone, and I don't have to pick that up. Now, kids, they may get picked on at school, come home, what are they on? They're on their computer, their telephone, they're looking at things where people are still possibly attacking them, or they're looking into how will people like me, and they see different things. Until they get older, full brain development doesn't happen until probably about like, what is it, 23, 24. So until your fully brain isn't developed, how can you choose what you actually want to be to that point? So I think that, if they're teaching things in school they shouldn't be teaching, they shouldn't. I mean, we did sex education when I was in the eighth grade. That was, we would have a priest come in, he would do a sex education class with the boys, and a nun came in, did a sex education with the girls. It was separated. Um, I think that's how it should be. Um, Parents should teach their children about that, not the schools. Um, Kids just have too much access to computers and things now. Um, that that I see as a downfall for them. Um, just pick one thing and they follow it. If they get put down, they just continuously getting put down from all different angles. And that's what could lead to their depression, and look at a different viewpoint in life where they're just playing the part but not actually feeling the part.
Great points. So then my question is, who do we blame? From what I can hear here, I think the parents are not doing their job with parenting their kids. As you said, a man is a man, as a woman is a woman. There is
I,
no right. I mean, Steve, you're a father, right? So you know better than everyone here. So my thing is, what is right,
so.
what is wrong is wrong. But why is it that I'm not opposing them? As I said, America is for the people, by the people, right? America is the land of freedom. That's why it's a melting pot. Everyone comes here.
Correct.
I totally support. They are human beings just like us. Much love and respect from my end. I'm just trying to understand the issues that they face. As you said, Steve, the bulliness, uh, very hard to adjust in the society, right? They are trying their best to find their place in social justice, in the social world. So, so I mean, is it fair to put a kid as a blame who is 8 years old, 10 years old, or even a teen, or the parents have lost their way in how to parent their own kids?
Well, ignorance is bliss. So, better said, when let's go into bullying first.
Right.
Um, I was bullied as a kid. It was a lot simpler though. Someone called me out. We went out to the parking lot. Two punches. Someone saw a little bit of blood. It was over. The fight was done. And if someone got knocked down, the other person picked them up and it was over. Very simple. Now people hide behind screens, hide behind computers. They're they're babies. They got a big mouth when no one can touch them or put their hands on them.
I understand, Steve, but the point is being bullied and being bullied for a race or your gender. Let's put gender. This is all related to being bullied on a gender basis is completely different than just being bullied, you know?
Being bullied at all is not okay. And
Right.
if you're bullying someone based on race and gender, then you're gender biased or you're racist.
Right.
What what they do with their lives or how they were born. Okay, I'm Italian. I can't help that. What if I was born black or Spanish? I can't help that. That's how I came into this world. And nor should I be judged on that. That has nothing to do with anything. And some of the smartest people in the world are from every culture we've ever had. So to judge someone or put them down based on how they look, how they dress, how they act. I mean, I'm wearing a dog leash around my neck. Like, come on. Like, you want to judge me? Go ahead. I don't care what you think. but a lot of people do. And now with cyberbullying, it's gotten a lot worse. I can't imagine growing up in this day and age. I To me, I'm 46 and I feel lucky I was born when I was, because I wouldn't be able to survive school today with the cyberbullying and all the bullshit going on. And it's it's a lot different when you're hiding behind a computer screen and you can't just drag someone out in a parking lot and punch them in the face. Because if you were able to just, hey, let's square off, a lot of that would end. A lot of these babies behind computers that have no balls wouldn't do what they do if they could be held responsible with a fist to the fucking dome.
Well, Dave brought a great point up. You know, kids being on their phone all the time, lack of
Mm-hmm.
communication, lack of personal touch. So, Dave, now, do you think social media and technology is to be blamed here as well? As much as as much as it connects the world, brings the world closer, do you think the consequence of social media outweighs the benefits of social media, especially for kids and teens?
Well, social media is good in one aspect where it brings a lot of education. I mean, without social media and the amount of communication that we have, we wouldn't have the advances in the world that we have today. Um, I think it's more toward parenting and parents letting their children at certain ages access, these social media platforms. Um, at a younger age, I believe it should be just more educational rather than being able to communicate with so many people. Um, that so overall, it's more parenting because everybody's going to keep spreading everything on social media, no matter what it is. But there has to be a control somehow, and that control has to be due through parenting. I mean, I do have a nephew. He's in Poland. My brother's son, and they're raised differently over there than they are over here. Really not on the social media and everything so much. But as I grew up, and then through my future learning about social media at later ages, when I look back, I saw it was a lot easier as a kid to back in my day where I didn't have access to all this stuff and maybe my brain being swayed in a complete different direction by somebody just because it's the cool thing to do at that point. Like the next fad. Like what's the next fad? Is people saying, "Hey, I feel like a girl." The next fad, I don't know. Is it a fad or is it their actual feelings? And that's that's the problem with the social media aspect of it. But the majority towards the kids, it's the parents have to really take. They're just sending their kids on their computer, on their phone, as being the baby